Okay then guys, sorry for the absence. I was in London just chilling for 2 or 3 days. I just wanted to have some downtime, to have some fun, to relax, to just do something for myself. So I really switched off. I can't wait to show you some of the stuff that's happening in 2024. It's all, guys, trust me. There's 2 or 3 massive things happening this year. Stream platform being part of that, but there's something else, a major business move that could be happening very, very soon. Some personal stuff, life setup and framing stuff, whatnot, which is where this video is actually from. This is from the life setup, framing, and marathon mindset course. Body language, how to become a more attractive man. All of that's going to be, look, I'm going to be adding to this course non-stop for forever. For the next 6 months, I'm going to be non-stop on it. I'm going to flush it out with 200-300 videos, but for the next, a few years or so, until I get to a point where I'm like, I think this is saturated, and even then we'll come up with the new versions of content for that course. Until then, it's just going to be non-stop. I'm just going to be adding to it all the time. So this is another video that's in this course, but I thought I'd just show it to you guys, okay? Mainly because I'm too busy at the moment and it's hard to record multiple stuff. So enjoy, guys, because this type of content isn't supposed to be on the YouTube channel anymore. So if you want to grab that course, guys, the links are below. If you want to get our men's lifestyle supplement, which is now called the Male Advantage supplement, what you receive packaging-wise might look different, but I've rendered an image so it looks better. But that's our best ever selling product. We've done over 20,000 units of that product. I think it's the best supplement that's ever been made for the men's industry. I think, if you use it, you'll say the same. Every review I've ever had has been positive. We've got free shipping worldwide on that product at the moment. And if you sign up monthly, which loads of people are doing, you get a further discount of 10%. So free shipping and a 10% discount. Like, it's the best we've ever had in place. And the stream platform, if you want to go and watch one free show or some of the other shows, the links are below. Everything's below. Let's get into the video. So the purpose of this video, guys, is to show you the kind of sweet spot between 28 and 50 for men. And I am certainly not just focusing on, oh, this is when you're most attractive to women. This is when, you're going to get the most sex if you like, all this stuff. I'm just focusing on quality of life in general. This is when you just feel at your best. You feel your most powerful. You're going to feel the most confident you've ever felt. And I'm going to break that down. Now, will it have a focus on attraction? Yeah, of course it will, because it's a big part of life. But this is very much just the balance of, you get to a certain age. This is why it's, this is why it's the optimal period of your life. So what I've drawn here, and I think it's semi-equal, is 3 different pieces that overlap right here. And this is why it's got the blue star. It's the outlier male kind of section. This is where, your life's going to be at its best. This is the male advantage right there, okay? So you've got fitness, personality, and wealth. Now, let me just explain what I mean by personality. I'm not talking about, oh, he's a good guy, oh, he's a nice person, or whatnot. Over time, this develops in a sense of emotional intelligence, just maturity in general, how you react to certain things, how... Let's say, for example, you're dating a girl for a few weeks, and like I said, it's not just specifically about women, but this is a great example that so many guys fail with. And she cheats on you, or she does. Let's say she doesn't cheat on you, but she's talking to a guy at a bar and she's laughing and joking with him, and then she comes back and joins you. A high-level guy would just be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Like if she continues playing those games, I'll get rid of her. But under that circumstance, I don't know what was said. There could have been a funny moment that I missed and they were just being friendly and off they go. That guy goes and sits with his wife. And also, it's a compliment to you. It's her job to be like, no, I'm not interested by it. Like, oh yeah, thanks, whatever. It's all innocent. It's not his fault. Do you know what I mean? It's a compliment. It's like, he's seen your beautiful missus. He wants to talk to her, but she's with me. Great. Right? So that's part of personality, because how a guy would react when he's young is, why are you talking to him? Oh, are you cheating? Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean by personality. It happened in a business sense. You're going to lose your cool less often. Personality also overlaps into things like fashion, hygiene, whatnot. Personality is all brain. It's all mental. You'll get to a certain point in life where you're like, why don't I take care of that element of my life? Why do I still dress like that? Like, that's all personality. This is what I mean. So this is your makeup of who you are. Okay, that takes time to evolve. You've got fitness and you've got wealth, which explain themselves. Okay, most people have usually got fitness when they're young, but they don't have the wealth. A lot of people get older and they gain the wealth, but they lose the fitness. So combining these three together, this one takes time. This one's extremely hard to get and takes time. This one you have naturally, but it's extremely hard to kind of keep together because you want to chase this one. Okay? Your life gets busy, you've got stuff going on, you disregard this. If you take this on, do you have enough energy to do this one? Like, it's very hard. So this is the perfect concoction of a man. This is where you want to get. You want to have fitness, personality, and wealth all combined. Right? And if we were to do a breakdown, there's guys that have got fantastic personalities that don't care about money or fitness. And mentally, they actually have life figured out. They're great guys. They're in this bracket. But they're just not seen highly by society because they're not in shape. They don't have money. And it's like you're a great guy, but nobody's ever going to get to know you. Nobody wants to work with you. Nobody wants to do business with you. Then you've got the guys down here that are super wealthy. They're arrogant and they're out of shape. Okay? Then you've got the guys here are like PTs. They're in fantastic shape. They might have a great personality. They're in here, but they're broke. Okay? To be in that bracket is so rare. And that is the combination of the three. I think that is what we're all chasing as men. To mentally mature and become the type of person that we know we want to be in great shape and to have money. I think that puts you in this bracket here, okay? Now, what I want to explain is the video game character kind of setup. Now, this is my straight 7 system, pretty much, visualized. That's why I've done it in these like kind of video game colors. It's not, to scale as such, but you've got here player 1 and player 2, okay? This guy here is player 2, and fitness naturally a 10, energy a 10, strength a 10, penis size a 10, looks a 10. This is what would be coined as the Chad, okay? So this guy on the surface, killing it. In school, he's Superman, right? He's the guy that everyone talks about. He's just the stud. College, university, he's the stud. That's who you'd want. However, you look at his money. His money's a 2, intelligence a 2, living situation at home with his parents a 3, cars a 2, fashion and hygiene a 5. Just doesn't really care down the middle, right? So, yeah, he's got all of these at a 10 and whatever, and it makes him look like a superstar on the surface from first impressions. Let's say he's like 6'5", he's in great shape, high energy, strong as an ox, giant dick, and, real handsome guy. It's irritating. Right? When you see something like that, you're like, oh my God, how many weapons were you given? But my argument is, as a combination of that being a 10 and that being a 2, 2, 3, 2, whatever, his overall perception, if we were to look back at this, is really poor. Because this would be like a 2. This here with his intelligence might be like a 5 and whatnot. And this would be a 10. So he's nowhere near this, okay? So he's up here, none of this. So he's way up here in the fitness realm. And personality, so he's like dotted about here. Well, that's not ideal. Do you know what I mean? And even then, it's more heavily fitness. So he's probably more over here. So he's so heavily reliant on one bracket. It's ridiculous. So he's nowhere near this. He could even be, if you've got the overlapping ring and the personality's not that great, he could even be surface level here. So he's not even broken into the second inner ring yet. He's got 1 out of 3. That's really poor. Whereas if we were to go over to player 1, if you were to build this video game character, fitness 7, easy to do. Energy 7, easy to do. Strength 7, easy to do. Money 7, less easy to do, but achievable for everyone. Penis size 6, 7, you're getting away with it, it's fine. Well, it's not just getting away with it, it's fine. Like, that's great. Do you know what I mean? You're going to have a great time. Well, she's going to have a great time. You're not going to get any complaints. Intelligence 7, which everyone can do, even if you're stupid, okay? I was the guy who was posting things on Facebook, swearing, spelling words wrong over football, and saying, oh, this team is this and that, and trying to explain stuff, and, you get a few likes off the guys, and it's terrible when I look back. And I educated myself, re-educated myself, read a lot of books, watched a lot of videos, changed who I was. Fashion and hygiene, there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse. Every man on the planet can have a 10 in that area. Now, I know it's subjective, but collectively you can be 9 or a 10 in that area. Living situation 7, car 7, look 7. Collectively, this guy is the better character. If you were playing a video game, you might pick this guy at the start, and you would find as the game went on and you face certain levels, this guy is a problem, okay? Early on, surface level, first few levels, I smashed through them. I punched that guy in the face. I jumped on top of that thing. I was able to run away quickest. This character's the best. As it got a little bit more complicated, this guy would take over. This guy can do everything. This is who you want to be. This is the well-rounded guy you want to be. In terms of having, like I said, life set up, framing yourself in a certain way, you want to be this guy. This is ideal, okay? And this guy is the only guy who will hit that. The 28 to 50 sweet spot. You've got to have these 3 collectively to be here. This is the sweet spot you've got to achieve. And this is why age is so important, because it's going to take a while to get this one. It's going to take a while to get this one. You have this one naturally, but you sustain it and you bring it all together to hit the sweet spot of 28 to 50, which we'll go through in a minute. And a guy here who is collectively across the board strong, 7s and above, rather than a guy who's a 10 and a 2, has major weaknesses, major flaws, who, let's say, for example, he attracts a beautiful woman. In 6 months' time, she's like, well, he doesn't have the money. I can't sit around him for too long. He still lives at home with his parents. He smells off it like now and then. And his car breaks down a few times, which is fine. I'm not a materialistic woman, but like, come on, you should have your life together. She's going to see it as like, I have no future with this man. This was fun for a while, but I have no future with this man. This is the guy that, you know, everybody wants to be with. This is the guy everyone wants to do business with. This is the guy that once you get past 25, every other man in the world respects and goes, yeah, that's a high-level guy. He's a threat. He's somebody I respect. He's a friend of mine. He's somebody I want to work with. I want to network with. You know, that's the guy you see at the airport walking through where you go, God damn, that's what I want my life to be. It's not this guy. This is like the big 6'6" jock who's just stupid, backwards cap on, strolling through the airport, causing a scene, hoodie and a backwards cap and some trainers. Nobody wants to be that guy. You know, genetically blessed, yeah, you might end up being an athlete or something like that, but this is the guy that collectively in the real world usually succeeds. So when you're creating your own video game character, don't forget about that sweet spot, because you can't really reach it with these flaws and weaknesses. Intelligence too. Hey, look, at school, you might get away with it. By the time you get to adult life, that is a major flaw. That's going to weigh you down. I don't care how big, strong, tough you are. I don't care how long your jousting pole is. That too intelligence and too money is going to mess you up in adult life in the real world, and you will never reach that sweet spot. Now here, you might be great, 18 years old, you might be having the time of your life, okay? Pretty much if we were to do this on high school, maybe a tiny bit of this, none of this, pretty much all fitness. Popularity would probably be here, and that would be like the sweet spot. But you get popularity from being this. You know, it'd be like fitness, athletic ability, looks. Probably pretty much it, and it'd be bang in the middle, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you here is player 2 is great. Who wouldn't want 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 in some of these areas? Just doesn't translate to the real world. The 28 to 50 sweet spot, this guy doesn't translate. He will never end up there with this situation. Now, modern world, you can go on reality TV and then suddenly the money becomes a 10, your living situation goes up, and your car goes up, you know, and somebody helps you with this one. Oh, now suddenly, you know, you look like a well-rounded man and whatnot. It's a weird thing that we have in this world. But this guy is real world value. This guy actually exists in the real world. He can survive in the real world. These are skills that will get you through real world situations. This is college meta. Anybody who's ever played video games, this is college meta. This is real life adult world meta. Okay? So we're going to go here. This is why this is the sweet spot for men in life in general. And I'm, like I said, add women in this too, attracting women. But I'm also talking about your life setup, your framing, how you're perceived, what you can get away with in the world. That comes from aiming for the sweet spot, the male advantage, actually getting there, positioning yourself, actually having the qualities to make it work in this time frame. Okay? Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Like I said, there's certain things you want to do. You might... It's less about going to the club and more about going to an expensive bar and going out for a nice meal. But you're looking at £250, £300 for the night. right? Back here, like going to the club and being the guy, 18 to 20, with financial limitations, who has high energy, high testosterone, he's ambitious, he's in shape, and he's youthful. Yeah, great. When you're in the bar, that's fun. This guy's running around, talking a good game, you know, high energy, dancing and whatnot. But this sort of stuff is just a major flaw in these two areas. It doesn't really work. And this is the split of most male lives. Now, I know guys that are 28 that are making millions per year. I also know guys over here who my boxing coach, for example, is 47. Yeah, he technically still be in here, but he's going to be 50 years old in 3 years' time, and he's still going to be in shape, high testosterone, high energy. He's got better cardio than I do, right? So there's outliers to the rule. But as a general rule of thumb, this is the problem with these age groups. 18 to 28, financial limitations. 50 to 80, physical limitations. The sweet spot from 28 to 50 is when you bring it all together, but you're also far enough down the path of life to have the personality qualities as well, which brings us back to that first slide here, which is a combination of all three, which puts you there. This is what we're all chasing as men. This is why this is so important as a time in your life, if you want to achieve good life setup when it matters, to work hard and put things in place, to get, to maintain the gym, to not go out and get drunk, to reinvest your money, to try and build a business, to try and come up with ideas, to really focus on your job in the 9-to-5 workplace. Maybe you get a couple promotions in this bracket and it really sets you up well for this part. You don't want to be a guy who gets to like 49, goes, oh, I finally have it all, but now I'm sort of losing the youthfulness and the physical aspects. My fitness is going down. I'm getting low energy. You see like a Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's got more money than God, but at the same time, he's kind of only hit his sweet spot at like 50. Yeah, he had the money before, but he wasn't in shape and whatnot. He's having to take testosterone. He's gone and had a midlife crisis and gone and got a real younger woman with like the plastic surgery and all the whatnot. He wanted to do it in this space, but he fully focused on the financial stuff, and it placed him here so quickly. He didn't have time to enjoy the sweet spot. So one of the richest guys in existence didn't really enjoy the sweet spot. Okay. Some guys here, they drink so much, they go out partying every single night that they play catch up here, and by the time they sort it out, again, they've missed the sweet spot. You need to be positioned perfectly. You need everything at this point. Now, I don't want to put pressure on you guys and say you need everything by this age, otherwise you're a bum. That's wrong. But if you want to make the most of this, if you want to bring all this together, it starts here. Okay, because you get here and it's not too late. You can still have a good life, but there's some things you can't turn back the clock of time on. And if you get here without money, or without a decent amount of money, I'm not saying you have to be a millionaire, but a decent amount of money to do cool shit in life, and you haven't evolved as an individual, you don't have good assets and whatnot, well, you're going to start eating into these years. Do you see what I mean? So my life really started at 28. I had decent money. But it's only this year where I've been able to really bring that top level stuff together. So I've eaten into 3 of these years. It's not bad, okay? That's really not bad. I get 19 of the complete sweet spot. But there's like, now I've added stuff along the way. Don't get me wrong. I've had a good time in those 3 years, but it hasn't, like you would have rather have arrived here with everything sorted. Now, from maybe 18 to like 23, 22, I was pissing around. I was getting drunk. They were years that I lost here that I could have gained here. 3 or 4 years that I lost here doing all that crap, could have gained them here. Could have been in even better shape when you got here because you didn't do 4 or 5 years going out, getting drunk, ruining your physique. So then you have to gain it back for a few years before you can get up to that level. Do you see what I mean, guys? That's why this sweet spot, this male advantage, this little gap here, that's why it's so important. So 18 to 28 with financial limitations, okay? So you've got all of this that I went through. The high energy, testosterone, all this stuff, but you have no money, low emotional intelligence, low financial intelligence, lack of assets, still figuring things out. That's a big one, still figuring things out. You don't know what you don't know. Until somebody tells you, you can't sit there and think about it, figure it out, start piecing it together and go, okay, now I know what I want to do in life. This stuff takes time. Over here, 50 to 80, you've got low energy, low testosterone, content. Okay, I was going to read that as content. I was thinking, what have I done? You're content with life. So the ambitious side here goes out. You're out of shape, old appearance. You just can't fight it. Do you know what I mean? You just look old. Doesn't matter what you do. You just as an old guy. Okay. Money, you've got emotional intelligence, you've got financial intelligence, and you've got great assets and pretty much a perfect life at that point. So that's the bonuses. You can sit with your feet up, you can enjoy yourself, you got spare money, you can go out, you're a great person. You just lack all these things. But here in this sweet spot, if you can make it work in time, this is why I always drive home the male advantage. This is when you find your wife. This is when you're in the perfect position to have kids. Okay? Too old here. Too young here. You don't have it here yet. You don't have the financials. This is when you should be doing all your major moves in life. Working hard, setting everything up, really enjoying it, sitting back, looking at, what a great life you've created. This is the sweet spot of life in general. This is when you add in your life setup. This is when you frame yourself to be that top dog. This is, in the animal kingdom, this is like the young pup coming up. This is the old lion about to die. This is the alpha male. I hate using that term, but it is. This is the alpha male lion who's on top, who goes, okay, I'm going to run this shit now. This is when you want to make it happen. These are the most essential years to a man's life. But people don't put the work in here, and then by the time they figure it out, they're here. Everybody misses out on this sweet spot, like I said. And this is why it's the sweet spot. Because you've got high energy, high testosterone, you're still ambitious, you're in shape, youthful appearance, you've got money, emotional intelligence, financial intelligence, good assets, maybe not great, has a life plan and results. So you don't have the perfect life, but you have a plan and you've got some results showing already. It's the perfect concoction. It's when you're the most attractive. It's when most people want to work with you. Is when you're probably happiest, when you've got most options in all areas of life. You've got accessibility, you can travel, you can fight. Do you know what I mean? You're probably most secure at that age in terms of, confidence level is probably really high, but I'm talking about security as well. Like if somebody broke into my house and I was 50 to 80, I'd struggle. 18 to 28, I'd maybe be okay. In this age now, I'm the strongest I've ever been and the most trained I've ever been. Do you know what I mean? That's giving me time to learn some skills. Like it is just the sweet spot. It's just everything you've ever needed. And this here is just this is what you're looking at here. This is a guy 18 to 28 who ends up failing in actual life, but this here is that there. And it's that there. It's 3 different diagrams, but they say the same thing. That blue star, this straight 7 system on the left, with the 10, which is inexcusable in my opinion, is this, the sweet spot, the male advantage. That is that right there. That is how you achieve the best life setup in life. You combine things that are in life, like a car, like clothes, like a certain smell, like a real good, decent cologne is what I'm talking about. With it, let's say you've got fucked up teeth. This is the time where you go, okay, I can pay for them now. I can bring that together. Let's say you've always wanted to live in a certain house in a certain place in the world. That's when you can do it. You can actually make your life setup happen. That is when you combine all of this together all at once, okay? This is when you combine the money with who you are as a person, with the shape, high testosterone. Like, there's no better time than to bring all this together. And do you know what's interesting as well? Like I always say to you guys, 37. Okay, is like the ultimate peak for men. And I haven't actually thought this through, but what's that? 9. So you got 13 on the other side. It's nearly bang on in the middle. Isn't it? It's not that far away. I know it's not, but it's not that far away. And it's just like a common trend that I always see is like Rocky, when he looked his best. I think it was in Rocky 3. I think it was Rocky 3, where he just had the solid jawline. He looked the best he'd ever looked. His body looked the best it had looked. And I was like, how old was he? Oh, he's 37. Chris Hemsworth, when he was in this Thor movie, he was 37. Like, it's so consistent. It's crazy. I think it might have even been like Will Smith, iRobot or something like that. He's always 37. And it just seems as though that's like the ultimate peak for men when they bring all this together. And you have to achieve it by doing this. You can't really get there by doing this. And you have to combine all these 3 and be bang on in the middle there. That's the sweet spot. That's how you get the best life set up. It's okay having shit. It's okay going, okay, I've got a nice car. I've got nice clothes. But who are you as a person? But are you still in shape? Okay, you've got a Ferrari. You're the best dressed man I've ever seen. You smell amazing. Your house is cool as hell. You're 77. Doesn't work, right? Okay, you're absolutely jacked, high energy, high testosterone, the most fun guy in the room. You're enjoying yourself. You know, everyone wants to be around you, but you live at home with your parents and you can't pay your bills. It's just a massive letdown. Do you know what I mean? And you haven't figured out hygiene yet. Sweet spot. This is where you make things happen. People are doing it too early, or they're playing catch up and they're doing it too late. Just work your balls off here so that you can make the most of this. And if you're already in these years, it's time to motor, because it just doesn't get better than 28 to 50 for a man.